Yesterday after church, a friend of mine said to me, she said, "You're Daniel." She said, "You are Daniel. You will not compromise." And when people tell me things like that, you can get yourself all complimented and all excited and think, "Oh, I'm a hero." And but that's not how I felt. What I felt was a sense of confirmation. This is Dr. Judith sharing with you today about not compromising. When the Lord says, the Word says that if you deny Him to the world, He'll deny you to His Father. He says that basically we should stand, if we stand for Him, we should stand all the way. Basically, He said, the Word says that He would rather us, in Revelations, He talks about He'd rather us hot or cold, but not lukewarm. He says in so many different parts of the Bible that He wants us to be people who are committed to our decision to be His child. And so when that friend said that to me, I thought, you know what, it's true. But I also thought, that's why you're catching such a hard way to go. That's why, you're having a difficult path, because you are committed. And a person who's committed to what they're doing usually doesn't have a large fan base. People kind of like people who waver and are fickle and float back and forth between decisions and choices. And that way they can flitter back and forth also and don't feel any guilt because everybody's feeling the same thing. But to be committed to, see, people can tell you they're committed to their marriage and they're committed to their jobs because it's something tangible. There's a person or persons there who represent the job, and there's a person who represents the marriage. But because people cannot see God in the physical, and yet He is here in the physical, but because they don't see Him walking like Jesus walked on the earth when He did over 2,000 years ago, because they don't see that, it's hard to understand being committed to someone you cannot see. And yet in order for the person who we cannot see, in order for him to be the impacting person that he is, that's his best position, being unseen, the divine, the supernatural. And so in the divine, to trust in that, to be committed to that, people find it very strange. Oh, we'll say we're believers and we say all these different things, but the truth is, for others to understand, they want something in the physical. And that's why we get into Buddha and all these other people, is because we can see someone, and we get into statues and all of that stuff because we can see something that represents what we should be believing, what we should be believing in. So it's when you're committed like Daniel. Now, the amazing and wonderful thing about people in those times is that they didn't see Jesus on earth at that time, and they didn't have Him physical in their presence. And they depended on hearing from God. And they didn't have the Bible. We do. And yet we require more than they did. We want to see proof of why we believe. We want to see the man, the person that we believe in. And yet we see people in our marriages, in our jobs, that we see them every day. They're around us, and yet we can't trust them. And they're there in the physical, but yet we can't trust them that they're there for us. And yet the God of this earth universe, who we cannot see in the physical, in terms of a man, He is more for us than any human being could be. He is more committed to us than any wife or husband could be. He's certainly more committed than any employer could be. So, but we want to see proof. And so, what I'm looking at is this whole idea about Daniel and being committed like he is. And at the basis of all of this is believing. It is because I've let go of Judith, and with the help of God, nothing on my own, with the help of God, I've let go of Judith, the flesh, to let the Spirit rule. And so I am committed on that level. And then after a while, the physical, even the physical, reacts to the commitment that the spiritual has made. So I am committed, like Daniel, in that despite the human part of me, I'll go into the den. I am in the den. I have been in the den. Despite what might be coming or might seem imminent for me, an attack, a destruction, death, physical, because my Redeemer lives. Because God is real and He does not return, His word does not return void. Because He says, I'll never leave nor forsake you. Because He says, if I take you someplace, if I send you someplace, I send you armored. I send you protected. In Psalm 91 it says that we rest under the shadow of the wings of the Almighty. We who believe. It also says that He will allow His angels to take you up in your hand so you don't dash your foot against a stone. So commitment, God's way, doesn't come without guarantees. It does come with guarantees. His guarantees in His word, where He says, listen, I'll be with you. I'm not saying you won't have difficulties. I'm saying I'll be with you through the difficult times. Yea, do I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I'll fear no evil. For thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Listen, He's saying, you can have the commitment of Daniel if you meditate on my word, if you read my word, if you eat it like bread, if you take the truth and you eat it and swallow it and digest it properly, you can live like Daniel. I'm not the only one. There are many Daniels in this world, many, I'm sure. I might be the one in your life, maybe. But then the decision is, do you want to be a Daniel? Are you going to become a Daniel? The choice is ours. The truth is that commitment does not come easy. Commitment comes with consequences, because being a Daniel means I can't just go everywhere and do everything with everybody else, and everybody just says, oh, she's just so lovely. Because when you're doing this journey Daniel's way, you don't have a lot of friends. People think you're crazy. People think you're wild. God said this, and God said that, and I believe, and when you have that level of commitment, I can't take credit for it. I asked Him to make me better, to make me more committed. I asked Him to give me the wisdom of Solomon. I asked Him specifically for these things. So as I become more of what He wants me to be, my level of commitment grows. And as my level of commitment grows, it changes me. I look at the world totally different. So yes, I do have the commitment of Daniel. I can tell. I have caught a lot of stuff from a lot of people, just a lot of guff about how I am and what I stand for. And the truth is that once you've made a decision to go all the way, because I've been going bit by bit now, it's all the way. Once you make that decision, there's no lion's den that can take you out. There's no king that can make a law that will take you out. Because the God that you serve, the God that Daniel served, the God that I serve, and the God that you serve, says that no weapon formed against you shall prosper, not even the teeth of a lion. Until next time, this is Dr. Judith. Think on these things. God bless.